Well, here we are in sunny California, right here to my little cucumber patch. We're going to try to figure out how we go from these little beauties to these little beauties. Here's our basic recipe. You'll add these spices to the sliced cucumbers after they've sat under ice for 3 to 4 hours. Oh yeah, mama. This is a grande here. So I've got all my cukes sliced up. Now I need to weigh them out, add pickling salt, and cover them with ice for 3 to 4 hours. So I've got 7 pounds weighed out here, which is a double batch. My recipe I'll put on there calls for 3.5 pounds of sliced cukes to make 1 batch of pickles. But we're gonna double everything up today because we got a lot of cucumbers. So I've got 2 double batches. Again, our recipe calls for 3.5 pounds of sliced cukes for 1 batch. So I've got 7 pounds and 7 pounds. Now we've got to add a quarter cup of pickling salt, which is basically a coarse ground salt, for each batch. So I'm going to do a quarter. I'm going to double this up because I've got twice as much pickles. And this, once I mix this salt in, we let it sit under ice for 3 to 4 hours. So there's this. I got to stir this in, kind of mix it all up. If you got a cut on your hand, you'll know it. So now I'm going to cover this with ice. Stick away on the corner of an available counter, and in 3.5 hours we will continue. And just for an extra pizzazz to these, we love to put sliced onions in there. So we're going with 4 onions because actually that's all we had in the house. But you know, it's lipstick to a lady, as they say, how many onions, if you even want to put them in there. So if I had a couple more, I might add a couple, but yes, never a disappointment. Nothing in that jar of pickles goes to waste. It's all enjoyed and savored. Onions, garlic, and the pickles themselves. Now while the cucumbers, they're sliced to be pickles, are under ice, my young bride here is peeling a bunch of whole garlic, which is going to be thrown in there for the deluxe pickles. Time to take the sliced cucumbers, get rid of the water out of here, the ice. You notice there's still ice on here, even though it's been 3 hours. But this brining solution causes the pickles to retain their firmness. Otherwise, you're going to have a bunch of soggy pickles. No fun for anybody. So while the pickles are draining, sterilize your jars in a vat of half-filled water. So while I've got the jars sterilizing, I've got the lids sterilizing, Now I'm going to mix up the pickling solution. So I'm quadrupling this batch. Normally it's 2 cups of vinegar to 2 cups of water to a half a cup of sugar to 1 teaspoon of turmeric. Notice that is my pickling solution. I'll get this nice and hot, melt everything in it. In the meantime, my lids back here are boiling. I'm going to turn those off and just leave them in there. Again, we're going to put everything back into a water bath, boil it for 10 to 15 minutes. That vinegar, that pickling solution we just mixed up here, sterilizes and keeps things for months and months and months. And the 4 cups of water to match the 1-to-1 ratio of vinegar to water.
Okay, I'm getting ready to measure out the spices. We use whole mustard seed, we use celery seed, and we use pepper flakes. Okay, now we're going to do the celery seed. Normally for a single batch we do 1 teaspoon, so I'm going to double it. I kind of do a little more, a hefty teaspoon. And so now we're going to do the pepper flakes. Usually it's 1 teaspoon per batch, so I'm going to double that as well.
Okay, so I've got it, instead of 3.5 pounds, which is the basic recipe, I've got 7. So I'm doubling everything up. My beautiful bride doubled up my spices. And now I'm just going to roughly cut these onions in half here. Half for this batch and half for the next double batch. And again, I've got to try to stir this stuff up, mix it in here. Now in the past, we've actually put our garlic in here and mixed it up, but it seems to kind of settle out in different areas. So I'm just going to add the garlic per jar as I spoon this mixed up concoction here into each jar. So, okay, well let's get the show on the road here. I'm going to take this, dump this hot water, boiling water back into here. We like wide mouth jars generally for this, but we've gone through all our jars. People so graciously gave us some other jars they have. You notice if I do this right now, there's going to be a lot of airspace in there. So I kind of work things down in there to maximize the amount of produce I can get in a jar here. And then they'll go back in the solution. Okay, here's my water, vinegar, sugar, and turmeric, my pickling solution. I'm going to fill this up to about 1/2 to 3/4 inch from the very tippy top. Ooh, yeah.
Okay, now what I'm doing now that the jar's been passed over to me is I take a damp paper towel and I just wipe around the side of the rim just to get any mustard seed or anything. Then I also go on the top of the rim as well. Then I take my little lid grabber to the sterilized lids, put that on top. I usually take a dish towel just in case it's a little warm. And I take the band and I just do it finger tight. You don't want to do it too tight. And then these jars will go back into the boiling water. Here they go back into the boiling water for the bath, the little bath time that they have there.
With this last jar in here, you notice the water level is just up to the shoulders. You don't want it too high, but you want it up good enough that it's gonna, it's pretty well sterilize everything.
We do the hot water bath for about 10 to 15 minutes.
Very carefully. Soak that up. I'm going to give it a quick tighten down. Well, there's half of them done. Time for the other half.
Okay, here we are, our final product of our wonderful pickles. We hope that some of you folks will give this a try and let us know what you think. Okay, have a good one.